Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another inks comparison video, and this is my Robert Oster inks comparison video, and I have 10 inks here that I can show you today. So I think let's go and swab up these inks. So the first ink is Robert Oster Bondi Blue. Now the first thing I want to show you is look at the sheen on this rim of the bottle. That is a crazy amount of sheen going on there. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And we'll do a second pass because I want to try and bring out some of that sheen. Actually, I may even bring a third pass on this one. So I really want to see if I can get that to sheen, just like on the rim of the bottle. So this is Robert Oster. And it's Bondi Blue. Which is a lovely blue ink. The next ink is Robert Oster Blue Water Ice. And this is actually one of my favourites. And again, I want to show you here, there's a little bit of sheen going on. There you go, look at that, on that rim of the bottle. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And we'll do a bit of saturation so you can see it hopefully sheen a little bit more. So this is Robert Oster and it is Blue Water Ice. But this is one of my more favourite blue Robert Oster inks. The next Robert Oster ink is Robert Oster Australian Sky Blue. Now this is one of my all-time favourite Robert Osters, I would say, because it's a lovely sort of turquoisey colour, sky blue ink. I'm going to saturate the top layer just a little bit there so you can see that. So this is Robert Oster. And it's Australian Sky Blue. But that for me is a beautiful blue ink from Robert Oster. The next ink is Robert Oster Fire and Ice. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is a little bit more of a greeny blue, I would say. It's a blue but with a more of a slight green tinge to it. So second layer there just to give a little bit more saturation. Now this is supposed to be a sheening ink and I really haven't had this ink sheen much for me. And I've had two bottles of this that I originally bought from Pure Pens, and this was really when it first came out. So I bought it because of the sheening properties and that I really wanted a sheening ink. And then I found that I really wasn't getting a lot of sheen out of it. So this is Robert Oster. And it's Fire and Ice. And irrespective of the sheen, it's actually a really nice blue ink. But to be honest, I've had two bottles of this. I'm down to about half a bottle now of the two bottles. And honestly, I much prefer Blue Water Ice and Australian Sky Blue myself. But I know a lot of people do like Fire and Ice. The next ink is Robert Oster Orange Zest. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And you can see this is actually quite a nice orange. Quite a punchy orange as well. So we'll do a second pass. So you can see that there. And this is Robert Oster. And it's Orange Zest. Or the zest of the orange. The next ink here I have is Robert Oster Tangerine. So we'll do an ink swatch here. Now I find this quite a watery orange. And honestly, I find it a little bit more slightly on the muddy side, I would say. So this is Robert Oster. And it's Tangerine. But it's an orange that, I don't know, it just doesn't do a lot for me at the moment. The next ink is Robert Oster Red Orange. So we'll do an ink swatch. And as the name mentions, it really is more of a red orange. We'll do a second pass over that. And this is Robert Oster. And I think you can see it there a little bit more in the writing sample, red orange. But that is actually quite a nice red ink, or orange ink, depending on whether or not you want to call it red or orange or both. The next Robert Oster ink is Caffe Crema. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is actually, I guess, one of my Robert Oster favourites, because I do put this in my Visconti Homo Sapiens bronze swirl quite a lot. Oops, put a bit too much ink there on that swab. So I'm going to probably have to leave this one to dry a little bit longer. So this is Robert Oster. And it's Caffe Crema. Which for me is a really nice sort of milky coffee coloured ink. The next Robert Oster ink is Gold Antiqua. Now I like this ink so much that I only have half a bottle, and I do have it on my list that I do have to replenish this ink, because I get to the point, if I'm down to half a bottle, then I clearly like the ink. Now, I haven't really actually used this a lot, to be honest, lately. So this is why I haven't really purchased another bottle just yet. But it's a lovely ink. It's an ink that I used a lot a couple of years ago as my main gold ink that doesn't have any glitter or shimmer in. So this is Robert Oster. And it's Gold Antiqua. But it's, for me, probably, I think the reason why I used it a lot a couple of years ago is it was my main gold ink without shimmer. But then I found another ink, which was a Pilot Iroshizuku ink called Inaho. INA-HO. And that for me kind of replaced this ink. And although this is a lovely ink, and I do love the colour and the writing of it, I found that I was after really a true gold ink without any shimmer, and Pilot Iroshizuku Inaho was the closest I could find that came to a gold ink without shimmer. The last ink that I have from Robert Oster is Robert Oster Khaki. And this was really when I was after the gold inks to add to my collection, and I bought gold Antiqua, and I thought I'd also buy Khaki because I like the colour Khaki, and to be honest, it kind of looks a little bit more goldish. It's more of a greenish gold. And you can see there, it really is more of a green colour. And I was really going by online ink swatches from various retailers, and they can vary a lot, unfortunately. So I looked at this and I thought, hey, this looks like a gold ink. And I purchased it, and it was like, yeah, that's really not a gold ink, is it? But I still like it, but I've only used about, I'd say about 1/8 of a bottle. So clearly I don't like it enough to ink it up too much. So this is Robert Oster. And it's Khaki. And strangely enough, another ink that I also bought, I think actually at the exact same time as this, was Aurora and Klinger Alt Goldgrün. And that is, I'd say, a sepia green, browny green. And I would say that the Robert Oster Khaki actually is fairly close to that as well. So, let's take a look at these inks in a little bit more detail. We have Robert Oster Bondi Blue. Now, this has quite a lot of shading that you can see here. There's no sheening going on though, although there is a slight sort of line around the pulled areas that you can see here that kind of wants to sheen, but it doesn't quite sheen. The next ink that I like a lot is Robert Oster Blue Water Ice, and you can see there's a lot of shading going on there. And again, I want to say it's trying to sheen around the edges there, but it's just not able to do so. The next ink is Robert Oster Australian Sky Blue, and this is one of my favourite inks. It's a little bit of shading going on there, but you can see there from the writing sample, it's actually quite a nice ink. And that, along with Robert Oster Blue Water Ice, are my really two favourite Robert Oster Blue inks. Then we have Robert Oster Fire and Ice, and as you can see here, there really is no sheening going on. There's a bit of shading going on, but no sheen whatsoever. We have Robert Oster Orange Zest, which is a really punchy orange colour ink, and this is an ink that I really like a lot. It's a very nice orange, and it has quite a lot of shading going on there. And then we come over to Robert Oster Tangerine, and this is a very pastel-like orange colour. I'd almost go to say a little bit more peachy, especially in a dry nib. It does have a bit of shading going on there that you can see between the wet and the dry, but not a huge amount. We then have Robert Oster Red Orange, and this is a little bit what I would call a muddy orange. It's not a bad orange. I've seen worse oranges, but for me, it's just an orange that I don't use a lot. And then we have Robert Oster Caffe Crema, which is one of my favourites. And if you'll recall that I did put a little bit too much ink on here, but you can see the amount of shading going on there. Really is a lovely ink. And I have used half a bottle of that ink already. The next ink is Robert Oster Gold Antiqua. And you can see here, very different between the light and the dark areas. A slight amount of shading, not a huge amount though. No sheening like the other inks here. And then we have Robert Oster Khaki, and this is similar to Robert Oster Gold Antiqua, but it's just slightly more green. It has a bit more shading going on, but no sheening either. So that's my Robert Oster inks comparison video. If there are any inks that you like here, then do let me know in the comments below. And likewise, if there are any inks that you have that I haven't shown here, then do let me know in the comments below. So that's my Robert Oster inks comparison video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.